Chemtrails are real. Chemtrails are given by unsuspecting civilians for ordinary airplane tracks, but they are not. They are chemical charges that are poured by specially equipped aircraft over our heads. These charges are intended to sicken the population and inhibit their development. This operation is part of the efforts of the Illuminati to reduce the world population to controllable proportions 500 million. It is led by NATO, which like the UN is an Illuminati organization. Chemtrails are recognizable by the thick stripes that they are in the air. They do not resolve within a few seconds, as usual emissions from aircraft also called contrails but panning out slowly. Since they almost always come with more than one aircraft will be in a grid pattern sprayed, they can be within half an hour of blue sky complete filling with a white veil. Subscribers and an avatar of a probable horizon. No ordinary plane streaks. Ordinary planes often fly every day about the same route at the same time. Their contrails look like white smoke stripes, like our exhaust in cold air. Chemtrails, on the other hand, are often secreted in dense, sometimes lumpy streaks. On spray day you see appear the most bizarre flights in the sky, one sometimes 6 or 7 gears at once to see two. They fly sometimes in parallel to each other, sometimes make curves, or sudden stop to produce a stripe, or begin with, they're just along. Chemtrail debunkers claim that chemtrails are simply frozen flame traces, but cannot explain why normal aircraft simultaneously flying through the same air leave no trace. Also on the question of why this phenomenon only recently seen in the mid-90s, and in sparsely populated areas sometimes to a much colder air not seen, the answer is not forthcoming. How is it done? Many aircraft are specifically for spraying chemtrails sent into the air, including from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio in America. But there are also planes whose pilots and the rest of the crew have no idea that they chemtrails to be spreading. Sometimes they do have a suspect or find them harmful effects to sit as close to the poison, especially when there are incidents. But if they raise their superiors, they often run into a wall. 3. Equipping and maintaining the landfill system in these aircraft usually done by specially trained technicians disguised as mechanics for waste systems in airports around the world. 4. Sometimes it is done by ordinary aviation technicians who are then hired by the Army. 5. They close the dump system to the outlet of planes, so that the chemical charge is emitted at the same time with the normal exhaust gases. A list of what you can see all of chemtrails: 6 heavy metals such as barium, aluminum, strontium, cadmium, titanium. 7 viruses, bacteria, fungi and mycoplasma which are related to the pathogenic species that is used in biological warfare. Chemicals such as polymer fiber, calcium chloride Cat12, silver iodide HEL and ethylene dibromide EDP, which was among other things used as a pesticide but is now banned because it is carcinogenic. Some of these chemicals have an inhibitory effect on the consciousness brain state. Chemtrails are mainly poured over the Western world. In densely populated areas tend to see several days a week chemtrails, in sparsely populated areas only sporadically. In addition to the weakening of the population, the chemtrails have, according to some sources, also the purpose of filling the atmosphere with particles that hold space energies. These energies reaching the Earth in connection with the ascension process, and the Illuminati do everything to stop it. This would explain why there are sometimes above the sea sprayed, like here in Shetland. A common argument of chemtrails deniers is that chemtrails cannot differentiate between the elite and ordinary people on the ground, so the perpetrators themselves and would also meet with their relatives there. True, but the Illuminati have medicines at their disposal to protect them from most of the effects of chemtrails, as ball gold and light and vibration devices that are kept outside mainstream medicine. Moreover, it sacrifices part of the Masonic/Illuminati system. Not for nothing is held annually at the Bohemian Grove Conference in California a ceremony for the cremation of care / just can't Skullenberg depicted in the form of burning the baby. The result: what is the effect of all these spraying operations? Bolster mem hospitals. People who like zombies walking down the street. No, that is not so bad. The result is but slight. At NATO headquarters, they will now be sitting with hands in the hair, because even in areas where spraying frequency is increased to almost daily, almost nobody gets sick. And our consciousness is not slowed, but develops precisely rapidly. How is this possible? Much we owe to our friends from space. Because it is not allowed according to the divine plan that humanity in the run-up to the ascension still has to deal with global disasters, the Galactic Federation has permission to intervene where it is needed. With their technology that is light years ahead of ours, they can convert pollutants in chemtrails in a precipitate which you most snot knows with fondness. 9 and 10. For many people in the Western world is still a strange idea that there actually such a thing as a loving God exists. which ensures that the balance of life is preserved. Let alone highly advanced extraterrestrial beings, this desire still in practice performing well. But for many indigenous peoples around the world who are much closer to nature than we are, this is a perfectly normal thing. We are awake. However, the extraterrestrial intervention is not the only reason for the failing chemtrails program. Humanity is working on a development process that stopped by any chemical agent is the rising Schumann frequency. The light from the entire universe will be sent to our planet. The light workers who make the world their work, our collective consciousness is going to surge, and people by the thousands wake up 11. Especially on the internet can see this well. Not only spiritual sites, but also on ordinary news. Where a few years ago, reports of impending pandemics and terrorist attacks were still taken seriously by most visitors, they are now often ridiculed in the comments. More people already know what about the elite clique, conspiracies, etc. Our friends in high spirits oppress us, including via transmissions on the heart that we have to greet the plane streaks over us with feelings of forgiveness and love for the pilots too, instead of fear and hatred. Eventually everyone has to learn his own lessons in life, and we cannot judge the actions of another. There comes a day when the last chemtrail is drawn, and then karma will determine how things are settled to everyone who was involved in this black operation.